Hello, I'm the blue little teddy bear, and I'm here to talk about Justin Hutchel's video and Justin Timberlake. Now, Justin Timberlake, I feel he's a wonderful musician. He came out with the boy band NSYNC and then skyrocketed his solo career with Timberland and went into acting, which didn't really turn out that great, but you know, he was still part of a lot of people's memories. You know, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, that's one of his songs, and yeah, he's collecting them royalties. Now, Justin Timberlake came out with an apologetic letter on Justin Hutchel's behalf. Now, the beginning of this letter started off wonderfully. He talked about how people should not judge each other by their race or stature. And he also talked about his grandfather's quote, "We all wear our pants the same, one leg after the other." I really don't know anyone who just jumps into their pants, but you know, to each their own. So let me start reading the part of his letter that's made me switch gears. "My friends are good people. This was clearly a lapse in judgment, which I'm sure no one who is reading this is exempt from." Let me pause. This is very true. We live in an age where things are blown out of proportion because everybody sees everything. It's not necessary that we just want to blow things out of proportion, which can be true, but it's because we can share so much information online, the internet, library, this, and that. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, we have all sorts of other sites that pertain to gossip. We have everything. And so many people see things, and when things get quote unquote viral, you know, it gets crazy. I don't know if Justin Hutchel's behavior is necessarily just a lapse in judgment. I really don't know. I really don't. So let me just continue. But I don't believe it was made to be insensitive. More so, I think it was made as a joke on me not having that many friends attending my own wedding, which is kind of funny if you think about it. Now let me just get into it. Justin Hutchel ran around the streets to homeless people, the mentally ill, and other people with unfortunate living conditions, to film them and use them as a catalyst of a joke to be displayed at Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel's wedding. And Justin Timberlake is saying that he doesn't believe this was insensitive. You don't believe this was made to be insensitive, homeboy? Of course this was insensitive. Are you kidding me? This is the reason why there was a lapse of judgment. This Justin Hutchel was clearly not thinking. He had many opportunities to stop and say, what the hell am I doing? What am I exactly doing? Making some ratchet video, making a mockery out of those who are less fortunate than he is, to display at your own wedding? Why would you even... I don't even know where to begin. All I have to say is both of you, Justin Timberlake and Justin Hutchel, needs to sit down somewhere and think about what they have been doing, because they clearly ain't thinking. Because why would you do something like that? Why would Justin Hutchel think something like this was funny enough to be seen at Justin Timberlake's wedding? Is Justin Hutchel one of those assholish friends who clearly don't think straight and just think they're doing whatever they're doing and it's gonna be okay? Or is it... I have no idea. Let me get into the second portion of my argument. Why would you make a joke that your friends were not at your wedding? Why? What is the joke? I don't get the joke behind that. I mean, let me start by saying this. Some people don't feel like they should have many people at their wedding. Some people think that it should just be a small group of people, a select small group of people who should see the joys in two people who are uniting. Or some people just don't want anybody down their back piercing in their soul while they're walking down the aisle, and elope or whatever, that's totally fine. And some people feel like they should have everybody there. They should have everybody they know. And you know what? That is fine. There is no problem with any of that. But for someone who didn't invite anybody, they don't go, ha ha ha, you weren't at my wedding, you weren't at my wedding, bitch, you weren't there, ha 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 ha, you weren't there. No, they don't do that. People say, I chose to have a small wedding because I chose to. People are 100% real. People need to be 100% real with their stuff. Do not be phony. This portion of his letter just screams phony. It's just not 100%. It's not. He's basically saying, I disagree with what he did, this asshole did, but you know what, I agree. Like, I don't get the joke. Now, and the second point, my other point in this second portion of my argument is that this Justin Timberlake, I am speechless. Girl, I don't know what he did with his wedding invites. I don't know. I'm not on top of all his wedding invites. And you know what? Weddings are personal. It should not be displayed all over the place. But people, whatever floats your boat. And it's really none of my business who he invited. Now you're gonna be like, blue little teddy bear, what are you talking about? So why are you doing this? Well, let's just get this on the table. Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel paid $300,000. No, they have received $300,000, $300,000 to send over their wedding pictures to People magazine. Now that basically just says that you throwing your privacy out the window. You throwing it to the People magazine, you just throwing out the window. And plus he sent this letter to his fans, which he clearly stated in this letter. Now if Justin Timberlake has invited this quote unquote many friends that he speaks of, then why would you be cackling at the fact they didn't even show up? They didn't go to your wedding. They didn't go to your you spent $6.5 million on a wedding and they didn't even show up. They didn't show up. And you know what? That just sounds sad to me. I don't see that as a joke. If you did invite them, that is just sad. And what friends? Because I know he had some friends there. He had some people. I don't know who they are. I don't. All I saw one girl who just displayed her ass in a bus on her way out of the whole week-long ceremony. And don't judge on week-long, weddings, but people should not be, held against their will to stay at a celebration for an entire week. But to each their own. There are Afghani weddings and all sorts of weddings that are long, but they don't force people. Anyways, why would he? What kind of mockery is this? Is he mocking at the fact that I know that he didn't invite his NSYNC buddies. They haven't been together in over 10 years and they haven't been talking to each other, so I get why he didn't invite them. But who is he laughing at? What are these many friends? You have true friends and you didn't. These many friends? Are you talking about Facebook friends? Are you laughing at your fans? What are these many friends that didn't show up and you find this kind of funny? That's not funny. This should be like one of those lifetime experiences. But Hollyweird doesn't make any sense. It should be Hollyweird because they all be divorcing so quick. Hardly. There are not many. There are some who have lasted through time, but there are not many. And maybe those friends of yours who didn't show up are probably just thinking, no biggie. I'll just show up to your next wedding. Boom, and that's the boom that should be there.